everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I'm so happy to have you here today. Before we get started, be sure that you're subscribed. Just hit the big subscribe button down in that corner. It's completely free to subscribe, and that way you don't miss out on any of the fun crafty content that I have here on this channel. Now in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make some side cards. We're going to do a bunch of different versions. I'm going to show you how to make sure you keep your letter centers if you make a version like this. I'll show you how to write on your cards with this one, and then I'm going to show you some really fun designs that you can do. Now, unlike other tutorials that just gloss over how to make these and tell you to download their templates, I'm actually going to show you how to do this step by step in all of these types of cards. We're going to show you how to make one that has cutouts on the side. We're going to show you how to do one with a layered SVG style where you're going to cut out two different pieces. And then I'm going to show you this one. This one's really, really fun. We're going to use a design from Design Space, but you can use any design that you want. Oop, man down. And we're going to show you how to do this type where these are cut out of the bottom. So lots of different versions of this card, and I think you're going to really love it. It is so fun. You can use your imagination and make anything that you want. So without further ado, let's get started. Here in Design Space, we are going to make some really fun side design cards. And unlike some of the other tutorials that I've seen, I'm going to actually show you how to make some of the more dramatic ones, because I've noticed that they don't show you the ones that are actually like cut out of the side, which seems silly. So we're going to show you that one first because that is my personal favorite and I think it looks really pretty. So what we'll do first is we're going to start with a shape, and I like to use a square. Now you can really make these kind of any shape or size that you want to. So just know that the way I'm doing it is just to show you how, but you can definitely make it any way that you want. I'm going to resize my square and I'm going to do a 5x7 card. So I'm going to go ahead and unlock my top. I'm going to make it 5 inches wide and I'm going to make it 7 inches tall. So I just changed the height and the width. Now I'm going to re-click this lock button. That way if I accidentally move anything, it'll scale it normally instead of changing the sides separately. Now I want to use a seashell for this. So I'm going to go into my images, and I already searched for this seashell because I knew that this was kind of the style I wanted to do. But I'm going to show you with this one, even though this one's the same shell, I want to show you with this one how to do this because you need to do 2 steps in order to make this design kind of hang out from the side of your card. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to size this down a little bit here, and I'm just going to kind of judge where I want it to be sized. And what I want it to do, and I'm just going to give you kind of the visual here, is I want the shell to be cut out of my card, and then I want like the shape to hang out the side. I hope that makes sense. So the first thing that I'm going to do is kind of arrange my shells in the way that I want them on the side of my card. I'm going to do a couple of shells. You can arrange these any way you want. You can do 1 shell, you can do 7 shells, whatever you want to do is fine. You can really just do this however you want. So I'm just going to kind of lay them out a little bit, and I'm just going to see if I can fit one more down here, which I think I can. Now, again, do these how you want. You can really decorate your card in any way that you want to do it. So now that I have my shells here, which they're so cute, I'm going to take them and I want to go ahead and select each of the shells. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to combine and I'm going to unite them. That just makes them one piece for Design Space, and you'll see why in a second. Now I want to duplicate my shells, and I'm going to take these ones and just slide them over to the side because I want to work with this set that's on my card right now. And what I want to do with these shells is I want to contour them, but I want to point something out to you. If you have them combined as a unite, you'll notice that you cannot contour. That's okay. To fix that, you can just go down to combine. I want you to undo the unite. Then I want you to select all those shells again, go down to combine and choose weld instead. Now we're able to use contour. Now I knew that that does that. I just wanted to show you because I've seen a lot of people run into that problem. So if for some reason it's not going to let you contour, you may need to weld your layer. So once I've done that, I'm going to go to contour and I want to click hide all contours. Now what I want to do is I want to fill in each of my shells. Now if I use hide all contours right now, it's going to mess this up because for whatever reason, it just doesn't work that way. Like it doesn't compute once you've welded them. So all you'll simply have to do is, if you can look, I'm going to click this outside edge here and you can click it right over here and notice down here that I have a solid shell now. That's what I want. I'm going to close this out. So I have these solid shell pieces, as you can see here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the shells and this square, and I'm going to slice. Now, once you've sliced, you have a bunch of different pieces, but I am going to give you a quick little hint to help you when you're going to do this. Because if you want the part behind your shells to be a different color, take these two purple sections, these two purple slice sections, go down to combine and weld them. That way you can keep this section because you're going to need it to go behind these shells, and it'll make sense in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and delete this slice result. Now what you want to do is take your shells that are your cutout shells, and you want to line them up into the space in your card. That way everything is nice and lined up. Select the card and the shells, go down to combine, and you're going to weld them. Now let me change the color of these so that this is going to make a little bit more sense to you. When you're going to cut out your cardstock, I want you to cut out these pieces as well, because it's going to make your seashells stand out so much better against the color of your card. Now you can make these any color that you want to, but you'll glue these onto the back just to give them a little more pop. Now you don't have to do that. That's completely up to you, but I personally like to do that. But again, really, truly up to you and the way you want your card to look. Now, what I do want to do is I'm going to go ahead, scooch this all over to the side a little bit, and we're going to add the second piece of our card. It's going to fold over the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to add a shape, and we're just going to do another square. Now, remember, our original square was 5 by 7, so we'll just make this one also 5 by 7. And I'm going to line this up with my other card. Now, the kicker here is you want to make sure that this right here isn't leaving a gap. Now, I could have made this card 10 by 7 instead. Totally could have done that, but that's okay. I didn't do that, and I didn't want to pull it out. I just want to get them lined up. So you want to make sure there's just a bit of overlap so that there's no gapping in between the two pieces. Then I select both pieces and I just go ahead and I make sure to align them and I center them vertically. That way they're nice and even. Then select both pieces, combine and weld them. Now you'll notice here that I did this on purpose because I wanted you to see. If it's not welded properly, if you had a gap, do you see this line? That's showing you that there's still a cut line. So it didn't overlap enough. So I'm just going to scooch it over a little bit. Select both, combine and weld, and see if that line goes away. It didn't because they're still not overlapped. This can be a little bit of a pain to do if you do it this way. Probably should have just made the card 10 by 7, but it's fine. No big deal. We'll just kind of play with this and we'll get it. See, eventually we got it. So now our card is ready to go. We're going to cut these little pieces out and these cute little shells out, and it will be adorable. Now I want to show you how to make a side card that's going to have like a cardstock design that you can glue to the outside of it as well. And then I'm going to show you another kind of version of a side card where we're going to make a little hot air balloon with some writing on it so that you can see a couple different versions of these side cards. Now this is a more simple version of a side card, and it's really easy to do. So let me show you how simple this is. First thing I'm going to do is open up our shapes, and I'm going to open up the square again. Now with this one, you can really do this however you want. Again, you can make this a 10 by 7 card, whatever you want to do, but I'm still going to stick with the 5 by 7 because I want to flip the card, if that makes sense. So I want to have the inside of the butterflies. You'll understand in a second. I don't know how to describe it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the images. Now you can use images from anywhere that you want to, but I'm going to use some from here in Cricut Design Space. Now you can really use any design that you want, but I'm just going to pick this butterfly right here. This one is fine for the design that we want to do. Now I do like to change the color for this so that I can see the butterfly against the card. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to size this down and I'm going to angle my butterfly, and you can really, again, do this however you want. Now let me be 100% transparent with you. You will see that this will look a little bit different when I cut it out. I might have even used a different butterfly because I made a mistake when I was filming and I needed to go back and correct that mistake so that you guys didn't have a messed up card when you cut it like I did. So I'm going to refilm this part, but it's still the same concept. They just might look a little bit different. So I'm going to duplicate my butterfly. And then for this one, I'm going to angle him the other way. And then I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it again. And let's do this one kind of like straight. So I'm just going to put the butterflies on to the card just like this, doing them kind of in just like a random sort of pattern. And all I have to do is let me get this last butterfly in. And now I'm going to move them around a little bit because they're a little, I don't know, not just quite where I want them to sit. So you can kind of move them around, figure out where you want them to sit. I think that looks pretty good. It's fine for this tutorial. Now what I want to do, I'm going to select my butterflies. I just want the butterflies, and I'm going to add an offset to these butterflies. Now that's a little bit large for what I want, so I am going to size this down a bit. Don't worry about if you have any like holes in the middle of your design. We can contour them out if you have them, but I want a kind of a smaller offset, so I think that's probably a good size. Once you have your offset, this is going to be what goes onto the side of the card, and we'll cut the butterflies out and glue them onto the card. So you're going to take your offset and your square, go down to combine, and then you want to weld them. Now it will look like your butterflies disappeared, but it's just because your card went on top of them. You can just pull it down to the bottom, and now you'll see what that's going to look like. So now you have this really pretty kind of like cut card that has like a really fun edge to it. But we need to make the other side for this card. So let me scooch this over. Oops, I missed one of the butterflies. That's okay, doesn't matter. Scooch that over. I'm going to duplicate this piece of card. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it. I'm going to flip it horizontally so that when I fold it over, it will cover up the butterflies like behind them. And that way the card has a nice like clean edge instead of having like one card be like smaller on the back. I hope that makes sense. Now what I want to do is I'm going to select both of these items. I'm going to align them, and I want to center them vertically. Now, just like in that other card, we need to make sure we don't have a gap. So I'm going to go ahead, combine and weld, and just see if that fills it in, which it does. Now with this card, you can add a score line if you want. I don't remember if there's a score line in the card when I cut it, but it's okay. It's really easy to do. So let me show you. What you'll do is go to shapes, and you're going to grab this line here. This line is going to be our score line. You can see that it's dashed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it the same height of my card. So my card is about 7 high, but it doesn't need to be that big because it's including this little edge here and then like this. So I'm just going to make it like, I don't know, 5.5. That should be plenty. It is not. I don't know how to measure. 7.2 should be plenty. I know what I'm talking about. So what I want to do is I'm going to take the card and the score line, and then I want to go to align, and I'm going to use this center option, and that'll center it to the card, and it will center it on the card. Now you might want to move it down a little bit based on kind of where it's sitting on the card. So we'll just scooch it down a smidge, and then you want to select the card and the score line, and you want to attach them. Now you can right click on this and send this to the back, and you'll see your butterflies will be right here. It'll fold over, and then it'll have a nice edge to it. Now, when you go to hit make it, I'll show you what this looks like because this is actually really easy. Let me go ahead and save this. Let's save it as butterfly edge and click save. Now you can see how quickly this one goes. Really, once you do 1 or 2 of these, they will be just fine, and it's super easy to do. Now for this, you see we have our butterflies here, and then we have our card. Now I do have this a little bit too big because I used 2 sides. So let me show you if that happens to you, and it might, because you added the butterflies, it made it a little longer than we wanted it. What I want you to do is select your entire design. Make sure that you have your butterflies selected as well, because we need to resize everything at the same time. If you don't resize everything, your butterflies won't fit against the offset of the card. So I'm going to size this down a bit just so that it'll fit better. And we just might make it like a 10-inch wide card. It doesn't really totally matter what size I make this. I just want it to fit on that one mat. Once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and just save it just so I have the size saved. But always make sure that when you're sizing something like this, that you size all the parts of your design at the same time. Then when I click make, now you'll see again, we have the butterflies, and now this card will fit onto a regular sized piece of cardstock. I won't need an extra long one, but if you want to make it a really big card, by all means, have at it. Totally can do that. So now that I've got this done, I think this will work really well. So we'll get this cut out. You'll see that cut. Like I said, it might look a little different, but it's going to be the same concept, but I did make a mistake. So I just wanted to make sure that I gave you guys the correct information when you're making a card like this. Now we're going to make a little bit of a different side edge card, so you can see a couple options here. So again, I'm going to start with shapes. You're pretty much always going to start with your basic shape. Now for this one, I'm actually going to make this a little bit different. I didn't mean to pull the side out, but that's okay. I'm going to make this actually 7 inches wide and 5 inches high. We're going to make this a landscape version card. And I'm just going to change the color so again, we can see it a little bit better. Now for this one, I'm going to use some text because I just think that will be really fun to show you a way that you can do these that turns out so stinking cute. So I'm going to open up a text box and I'm going to type in the word Halloween, and you can really do any word that you want and you're going to choose any font that you want. Again, really have fun with it. But I do find that using a little bit more of like a plainer font, like something like Awesome Everyday Caps, or there's one that's really pretty called like Party something. Gothic Cooper Black is really good. You want something that's just a little bit more plain, so to speak. And I'll show you why in just a second. So let me pick out a font really quick and then I'll show you how we work with it. I'm going to use Lovely Mood Display, and I think that one will work perfectly for what I want to do. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your word and I want you to size it till you're happy with how big it is on the bottom of your card. And for this one, we're going to kind of just place it about center-ish. You can use the center option if that'll help you. Go to Align and you choose center horizontally. I was pretty much dead on, which is good for me. Now what I want to do is I'm going to take this word here and I'm going to add a little offset to it. And again, play with the sizing, do it how you want to do it. It doesn't have to be a specific size. Just do one that you think will work for the look you're going for and make it however you want it. So for this one, I think that's actually pretty okay. So I'm going to click apply. Now there is a little hole right here that I don't want. So I'm going to go ahead and contour it out. So you can just use hide all contours and that'll contour out any of those little holes because we don't want those. Now there's two things that we're going to do here to show you how to make this. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate this whole card because there are again 2 ways that you can do this in however you want to do it. Now the first thing that I'm going to do with this one, because I like the way that this one is sitting, all I have to do for this one is take the offset and the square and I can combine them and weld them. And then I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to send this to the back. And then I have my Halloween word right here. Now, again, I could hide these contours if I want to off the card, if I don't want them to cut them out, which is fine. If you don't want them to, just get rid of them. And then you can take your word Halloween, right click on the card, and then you can slice this. Now you are going to have these little letter centers right here that won't stay in place. So I'm going to show you how to keep those in place if you want to use this like this style. So if I want to keep it like this where the Halloween is cut out, I'm going to need to do what's called bridges. And bridges are super simple. Just grab a square, go ahead and make this square relatively thin. It doesn't matter how big it is, like tall wise, but you do want it to be pretty thin. And once you're happy with how thin it is, I could probably still go a little thinner. You'll need to zoom in a lot of times when it comes to like this type of stuff, because once you get it so small, it's really hard to get to those little bounding boxes. So you can see like I really can't quite get to the bounding box that I want. So I might need to zoom in even further. And sometimes you've really got to zoom in to get to what you want. And even then, sometimes it doesn't work. So if it's being a pain, you can change your width up here to like 0.5 and you can play with the width up here if that's better for you. So just play around with like how you have to do it, but I don't want these to be very, very thick. So once I've kind of got where I want and I'm pretty happy with that, I'm going to duplicate this because I still have one for the O that needs to be there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put one for the O. Now I'll zoom back out so that we can see the entire design. And you have these bridges. Now you're only going to need to put those in places where the centers of the letters are floating, so to speak. So for that, I'm going to go ahead, select the entire design, and I'm going to choose combine, and I'm going to weld them. Now this will hold those little letter centers in place without any issues, and you won't have to worry about keeping those, in place. Now for this one, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and weld the little offset to the card again. And I'm going to drag this under the Halloween word. And then we'll cut the Halloween out with, a different color cardstock or whatever it may be. Or we could also have the Cricut write this. So if I want the Cricut to write it, I can go to Operation and then I can change it to Pen and it will draw this, and you could either color it in or have the Cricut fill it in. I'll link a video down below that shows you how to fill in text. Now, once you've got it like that and you want it that way, you can go ahead and add anything else you maybe want the Cricut to write. So in this case, I'm going to have the Cricut write happy. And for that word, I'm going to use the Lovely Mood script. And I'm going to place that on to the card, and we'll just kind of place it wherever we want it. I think that looks pretty good. And again, I'm going to change this operation to pen. Now, you see that it has like the little lines in it. Go ahead to combine and weld it. And that'll get rid of those extra lines there so the pen won't draw them. Then you want to select everything on your card. Go to the bottom here and click attach. That's going to tell Cricut Design Space not to move anything around so that everything is held in place. Now you can of course add other embellishments to these if you want to. Do whatever you want to make the card your own. That's another way that you can make these little side edge cards a little bit differently, little different style. And I want to show you one more that I really like that I think is a fun way to do these. I want to show you another style of card that I think comes out so darn cute. So what I'm going to do, again, I'm going to start with just a shape, but this time I'm going to do a 5x5 card because that's like another popular size. And I do love a nice square card. I always think those look super cute. So here's my 5x5. Again, I do like to change the color just so I can see it a little bit better. And then I'm going to go into images. Now I'm going to look for a hot air balloon and just see what I can find. But I already kind of cheated and looked, and I really like this one. And I think this one will be super cute for the design. Now that I have this balloon, what I want to do is create this card. So I do want the balloon to kind of pop off the card, if that makes sense. I want it to look like it's like floating off of the card, meaning I want to get rid of this piece, this little corner piece, and then this corner down here. Now I can kind of adjust where my balloon is, and I'm going to have like this be all of like my little sentiment, whatever I want it to say. Now with this balloon, it is set up a little bit weird with the SVG, but that's okay. We can totally work with this. What we're going to do is we're going to use an offset. And I want to use a really, really small offset. This does not need to be very big at all. Like maybe like 0.01 maybe. Maybe that's about right. Yeah, I don't want it to like actually look like an offset. And I'm going to click apply. Now the reason that I do that is because when I tried to weld this, it wouldn't allow me to work with it quite the way that I wanted to. So I'm going to pull the balloon off, and I'm going to show you what this offset looks like. Now we're going to need to do some slicing and some dicing, and then we're going to need to do some welding. So the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to slice the offset, so the black from the blue, and I'm going to click slice. Now, there's certain parts that I do want to delete and certain parts that I don't. Now, I want to keep the balloon and like this outside portion. So what you can do for that is you want to select both pieces, and I just automatically combine them and weld them. That way that's like out of the way. I don't actually need to keep this blue piece at all, so I can either hide it or simply delete it, whatever works for you. But what you're going to do is go under this slice result and go to contour. Now with any luck, it will let you contour out these little pieces. With the old balloon style, if I just duplicated that balloon and welded it, it didn't let me remove the pieces that I wanted to, which is why I had to do it this way. So once I've got that and I'm happy with that, all I'm going to do is I'm going to select my balloon, which is the black and the blue, and I'm going to combine them and weld them. Now everything should turn blue, and that's perfect. It's exactly what we want it to do. Then we can pull our balloon back over. Now you'll notice that our hot air balloon is behind the card, so right click on it and bring it to the front. Then you can place your balloon onto your card wherever it's going to sit. And look at how stinking cute. This is going to be a really, really cute little card. I think it's going to be absolutely adorable. But I want to add maybe a little sentiment over here on the side. And I'm just going to do something really simple. I'm just going to put thinking of you. I don't need to be crazy. Like, this is just to show you how to make them. So you can add whatever sentiment or design that you like, and then use whatever font that you like It's really up to you. Now I am going to have this write this, so I'm going to make this a bit smaller. I want to make sure that this operation is set to pen, and then I can place this wherever I want to onto my card. Now I could have it fill it in, but I'm not really that worried about it. It's fine. What I want to do though is select the blue and this little writing, and that's all I want to select, and I'm going to attach it. That just tells Design Space not to move it and to put the writing exactly where I put it. Now I am going to send this backwards just so my balloon's back on top. Now we do need to create the other half of our card so that we can write inside of it if we want to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just simply duplicate this. Now I will need to detach and remove the writing, but that's totally fine. You could duplicate before you added the writing, but whatever works best for you. And then I need to take this piece of my card because I want it to be able to fold over, and I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to flip it horizontally so it's basically a mirror of the other design. Now you can, of course, have it have a straight edge if you prefer, but I like to have it have this edge here. And then what I'm going to do is select both of the blue pieces. I'm going to align them, and I'm just going to center them. And then again, I just want to make sure that they overlap just a little bit. And all I need to do here is combine and weld. Now again, remember, if you've welded correctly, you will have no issue as far as a line in the center. Now I'll show you really quick how to add a score line. Go into Shapes, go to Line. I want you to take your line, and you're just going to make it as big as long as your card. It can go a little bit past, that's fine. Select the card and the line, so I don't want to select the hot air balloon that's behind it. I'm going to go to Align, and I want to center that line just to make sure it's right, and then make sure the line is set to score. Now, one thing that I'll have you notice is the writing went away. So sometimes when you do that, if you've attached already and you weld, I made a mistake. It's okay. I like to leave those. So if you've welded and your writing is gone, totally normal. Absolutely happens. What I want you to do before we do anything else, go ahead and attach that score line to your card, and then you can just add the writing back in. So I'm just going to click on this. I'm going to send that backwards, and then we can just add the writing back in. It's totally fine. Whatever happens, happens. You know, nobody's perfect, and I like to show you how to make mistakes and fix them. So I totally made a mistake, so I just have to add my writing back in. Go ahead, size it to whatever size I want it to be. I'm going to just size that down a little bit more, and voila. Now, we can, of course, add other elements to this if we so desire. Do whatever you want to do to it. You can add clouds, you could add whatever. But I'm going to leave it as is. So what I want to do is make sure that I have the writing and the card selected, and I want to attach those again. Now it's going to constantly put the air balloon behind your card, and that's fine. Like, it happens. It's not like the end of the world. If it does that, it'll still cut it just fine. But again, you can just always click and then bring it to front, and then you can get an idea of what your card will look like. Now again, add elements if you want to, or you can just leave it as is. Whatever makes you happy. So I'm going to cut these for you so that you can see kind of what each of our different designs is going to look like, because I really want you to be able to see all the different card options that you can make. And there are so many different ways that you can do this. So don't feel like you just have to do it the way I show you. Have fun with it. Be creative. Do your own thing. I promise you, like, it's fun to play with. If you mess up some cardstock, you mess up some cardstock. It's not the end of the world. The first thing we need to do for the Halloween card is to load in our pen. I'm using the medium tip, the 1.0 tip. I'm going to go ahead and load this in. I put my finger under the carriage, and then you press your pen till it clicks, and then go ahead and close this. Now we are using a Cricut pen for this, and then I'm going to use this green. It's the closest thing I had to like a Halloween color. I did size the cards down just a little bit so I could fit them just on one sheet of cardstock. But when you do them, you'll want to maybe fit them on two because it's a little bigger. So let's go ahead and let this write, then it'll cut, and I'll show you what they look like. This video is already getting a little bit long, so I'm just going to kind of speed through this part. Assembling's pretty simple. I just used foam tape for the backs of the design of this little hot air balloon. That way it gave it a little more depth and it wasn't like super flat, but you could definitely just glue it on if that's what you wish to do. And then for the seashells, I just used some Craft Bond Elmer's glue stick, and I glued those on and lined them up. I think these came out really, really cute. They were a lot of fun to make, and you can make anything that you want using these instructions. So let your imagination be your guide, have fun with it, and make anything that your heart desires. You do not have to make exactly what I did, but these are just a guide to teach you how to make something similar. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. I am always happy to answer those for you. Be sure you're subscribed here. It's totally free to subscribe. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting.